Welcome to IAJGS Flight 1375, the JewishGen.org 2020 annual meeting. The trip will be a total of 1 hour. This cockpit view will be recorded and, if all goes well, will be viewable on the live webinar section of the attendee center within about 8 hours after landing. I am Dan Oren and I am the session manager for this journey. Your captain is Avraham Grohl. We are all new to this technology, so please have patience if there are some technical glitches aboard our jetliner. Due to the pandemic, we will not be serving meals today. You are now free to remove your face masks. Enjoy the flight.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Good morning, depending on where you might be in the world. Welcome to this year's IAJGS conference and to the 2020 JewishGen annual meeting. My name is Avraham Grohl, and I am privileged to serve as the executive director of JewishGen.org. And I would like to thank you for granting me this opportunity to update you on JewishGen's progress over the past year, along with some plans of what it is that we are trying to accomplish in the months and years ahead. If you are new to JewishGen, welcome to the family. You have just joined an amazing community. And for those of you who are longtime members, welcome back. I hope that you are all doing okay during this time of COVID-19, that you and your families are staying well and staying safe during these very challenging times. A little bit about JewishGen organizationally. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization affiliated with the Museum of Jewish Heritage, a living memorial to the Holocaust, based in Lower Manhattan in New York City, directly across from the Statue of Liberty. JewishGen was first established 33 years ago by Susan King as an online bulletin board. She had the vision to utilize technology or emerging technologies to connect Jewish genealogists well before others thought about it. Here are some photographs of Susan from last year's conference in Cleveland. Since Susan first dreamed of JewishGen, it has evolved into a world-class organization whereby you can search millions of records, either in our collection or those that we're able to provide access to, and those that can be searched easily from one search interface. You can also connect with a vibrant and active Jewish genealogical community that has facilitated and has allowed hundreds of thousands of people to connect, sometimes via the discussion group, which now has 20,000 people participating, sometimes via the Jewish genealogy portal on Facebook, which now has more than 30,000 people participating. Or perhaps it's via the Family Finder, a tool which allows you to connect with others who might share the same name that you might have, which has more than 600,000 entries. Perhaps it's on ViewMate when you post a request and ask for help identifying or translating a tombstone that you found. Or perhaps it's through the millions of family trees that we have online. On the right of the screen, you have a picture of a family that was reunited as a result of the JewishGen Family Finder. And finally, learn. Come and learn what information you can find on JewishGen. We provide contextualization, town and historical information to help people understand and identify not just who their relatives were, but how they lived. You can find your ancestral town in our community's database. You can learn about what life might have been like for your family by reading through Yizkor book translations. Or perhaps you might want to take a class, learn how to go about doing research. Maybe you want to connect with the volunteers who oversee the more than 20 research divisions that are focused on specific geographical areas. And this is the real power of JewishGen. And so what I would like to do during this meeting is to provide a brief operations and research update, but to do so within the context of what an incredible and vital resource JewishGen has become, and that we will continue to grow with your help and with your involvement. I hope that you will be inspired by what we're doing, you'll be pleased with the direction we're taking, and that you will be moved to strengthen your own connections to JewishGen as we move forward. I'd like to begin with a few thank yous. First, and on behalf of the JewishGen leadership team, I'd like to extend a special note of gratitude to Robin Magid, to Dr. Dan Oren, and to everyone at the IAJGS who has been involved in the organization of this first of its kind conference. JewishGen is a sponsor of this conference, and as you can see on the flyer, we have a significant presence. But there is no roadmap and there's no template for what they have created. They have not only worked under incredible time constraints to pull this off, but they try to accommodate as many people and ideas as possible along the way. We greatly appreciate their efforts and for granting us all an opportunity to benefit from this wonderful platform they have created and made accessible to the broader Jewish genealogical community. Second, I'd like to publicly say thank you to the JewishGen volunteer leadership team and to our many hundreds of volunteers. On a daily and on a weekly basis, it is this group of people spread out around the world who selflessly give of their time, their expertise, and their experience. They give it to JewishGen ultimately to help you. It is they who fuel everything that we will discuss. It is because of their commitment and their generosity that JewishGen functions as it does. From system administration, and there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes to keep the JewishGen site operational and secure, to member support, to communications, development, general administration, volunteer administration, database administration, and of course, all of the research divisions and special projects. Nothing you see and nothing that we are going to review would be possible without their commitment, without their devotion, without their dedication to helping the thousands of people who turn to JewishGen each day as they seek to connect with their roots. So to my friends and colleagues on the volunteer leadership team and to all the volunteers around the world, and you can see some of them on the pictures which are scrolling across your screen, which were taken at last year's IAJGS conference in Cleveland. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your inspiration. I wish I could mention all of your names, but I can't due to the time limitations. But I learned so much from each of you, and I look forward to continuing to partner together with you on behalf of JewishGen's important and vital work. If anyone would like to join our team, please visit our homepage and click the Get Involved button. That will take you to a volunteer application. There are so many different opportunities for you to get involved, and we would be glad to have you join us. I need to mention one other person, a valued member of the JewishGen family, someone who became a close friend, and someone whom we lost this past year. Phyllis Kramer, Zichrona Livracha of blessed memory, was a longtime volunteer, most well known, perhaps, serving as JewishGen's Director of Education. She taught thousands of students, and perhaps even more importantly, helped build our educational department so that others could teach as well. What people don't know is that she constantly made herself available to help people. This manifested itself in the ways that she would help random individuals who wrote to her seeking her guidance. And it was also through her intimate involvement in JewishGen's business operations, helping us set strategic priorities and not just giving advice, but helping to carry it out. She would do whatever needed to be done, no matter how large or small the task might be. She was certainly involved in big picture thinking, but she would also volunteer to do data entry if someone needed her to. She recruited volunteers to work on success stories. It was she who helped identify the need for a proper volunteer coordinator, and then she found someone to fill that role. It was she who identified the need for a different type of support desk. She recruited someone to manage it, and then she oversaw its implementation. Phyllis would involve herself in other areas as well, including fundraising and serving as a spokesperson to articulate the importance of JewishGen. In her professional career, she was a management consultant for IBM before taking early retirement. But then she found JewishGen and another full-time position, one in which I hope and believe she found more meaningful. It was during last summer's conference that Phyllis told me that she had been diagnosed just weeks earlier with an illness which would ultimately take her life just a few months later. I was shocked, but before I could react, and as she held back tears, she said, "I've had a good life. Don't mourn me while I'm still here." I wrote that down. Instead, she wanted to make sure that her work would continue and that I would have the information that I would need. She continued to lecture at last year's conference, and she used her energy to document her curriculums, to work with Nancy Holden on process and procedures in the education department, and to train Nancy to succeed her as Director of Education when she could no longer continue. Phyllis was a kind and compassionate person who was completely devoted to helping others. Although many years my senior, she also became a true friend. She looked out for me. She helped guide me in my role at JewishGen, and she is deeply missed. But she would want us to continue, and we will. We will continue to help people in any way that we can, but we will do so with a gaping hole and with great sadness. Within this context of moving on, of doing what Phyllis would want us to do, of helping people, let me give you an update of how we're doing. From an archival perspective, we are providing access to millions of records. But last year, we discussed some challenges we were facing. Our systems and database technology had antiquated components. It relied on proprietary software that very few people knew how to use. And it was saddled with legacy code that we had no documentation for. This translated into a site that very few people could make improvements to, and it caused delays in getting data online. So as a result, we set a goal of analyzing our current database operations, making it more secure and streamlined, documenting the systems and processes, allowing other people to get involved, and ultimately making it easier to get data online for researchers. And throughout this year, this is what we were intensely focused on. First, we secured our data search technology. We implemented modern security protocols, including things as simple as having automated alerts when there was an issue. Second, we created a staging environment to test data. So that way we were no longer working in a live or in a production environment, meaning that when we add something now, we don't have to be nervous that if there's an error in the code, it's going to bring down the entire website as it had in the past. Third, we analyzed and documented the different ways for loading data into the site. For example, some historical data sets were loaded in one way, while other data sets, burial records, for example, might be loaded a different way. Along the way, we added efficiencies and automations, and then we documented everything. Finally, we brought people on board and implemented new processes and procedures so that it would not take weeks or months for data to be uploaded when it's ready. And we have already seen results. To this end, between April and July of this year, we added nearly 70 data sets to JewishGen, accounting for hundreds of thousands of records. That's more data than we added in the previous 2 years. Some of these were updates to existing collections, and some were brand new data, and we'll discuss this a little bit more later. But it does not end there, and this is something that we're really excited about. Because of all the work that we did on the database, it got us to the point whereby we could build a data loading tool that would create a self-service platform for volunteers to upload data sets directly to the site without the need of a programmer to upload and process the data. This new tool will not only make it easier for volunteers to get data online, but it will get the data to you, to the researchers, more quickly. This tool is currently being built by Logan Kleinwax, who's our director of Danzig Research and also a technical advisor. Many of you know him from his role in Jewish genealogy world, and it should be ready in the coming months. In this regard, we have decided to name this data loading tool Joyce, in honor of Joyce Field, the longtime vice president of data acquisition for JewishGen. She's on the left of this picture when she received the IJGS Lifetime Achievement Award. As Logan has mentioned, perhaps Joyce is someone who is most synonymous with JewishGen's original efforts to acquire data and to make it accessible online. It has been an honor for me personally to reconnect with Joyce this year, and she has been volunteering her time once again with the Yisker Book Project in particular and providing general advice. This is a small way for us to express our enduring gratitude and appreciation for all that Joyce did and continues to do for Jewish genealogy. Once this tool is complete, we will then focus on a new user interface that will offer researchers a world-class experience when searching the JewishGen collections. As with many things, this will take place in a phased approach. We are being strategic with this and many other parts of the site. There are a host of features that we want to implement. Things such as allowing results to be filtered, to allowing searches by relationship. Some things we might be able to do quickly, some things will take longer. There is a lot to do, and more information about this will be shared as we go through the process. On the topic of making technological improvements, let me segue to fundraising. We have been doing a lot of work to engage with our donors more thoughtfully, and we are looking at obvious metrics like retention and attrition rates, but we are also focused on improving the donation experience itself. We want to make it easier for people to contribute and to feel part of the JewishGen family. So we are working to replace our user/donor management system with a new modern platform that will make it easier for people to get involved, easier for people to donate, easier for people to keep track of their profile, easier for people to keep track of their interests. And this is something we expect to have live in the fall. But I also want to emphasize that among our core values is that access to the JewishGen archival collections should always be available at no charge. We might offer tools and other value-added features, but the basic access will always be there, no matter what improvement and changes we might make. If someone wakes up in the morning one day and says, "I'd like to learn more about my Jewish roots," we want to be there for them. But all that being said, it does cost a lot of money to maintain and operate the JewishGen site. Working on just some of the technology updates that I've mentioned, it requires a degree of investment. And so while the site is free, we continue to depend and rely on the support of our members to help us raise the funds needed both to operate and to invest in future growth. And to this end, I would like to say thank you to all of you. This past year, you have continued to support us, and we received more than 10,000 gifts from around the world. Each gift makes a difference. Some people donate $100 annually, and they take advantage of our value-added services, which offer enhanced search tools and features and educational offerings. Others join our monthly Chai Society with gifts of $18 or more per month, or they join our monthly Giving Society and donate $5 or $8 or $10 on a monthly basis. Some give at higher levels, some give annual gifts. But what I would like you to know is that each gift is valued and important. And if you are in a position to do so, and if you're in a position to contribute, know that collectively it will make a huge difference. It is these funds that directly support so much of what we do. It is these funds that will help make success stories like the image you see on the screen happen. At the same time, we have continued to focus on our planned giving and legacy programs. And I thank those who have chosen to think of JewishGen in this very meaningful way, and also for letting us know so that they can be included in the JewishGen Tree of Life Society. We are also trying to expand our revenue stream, and we are formulating an organizational grant and foundation strategy. This is going to be both for general operating support, but also for specific projects. And we are looking for additional volunteers to help us with this. If anyone has experience in this area and would be available to help, please submit our volunteer application form on the homepage. Finally, I ask one more time, if you are in a position to do so, please consider making a contribution. We are making so much progress, and our work is more important now than it ever was. You can easily donate by visiting the JewishGen homepage and clicking donate. And I thank you in advance for your support. Speaking of progress, I can't express enough appreciation to Nancy Siegel, our Director of Communications, and Richie Baum, Associate Editor, for the tremendous amount of work they've done over the past year. Nancy has crafted and implemented strategies relevant to both internal and external communications, and has worked closely with numerous volunteers to set up and promote their projects more effectively and to wider audiences. She has played a leading role in unveiling new tools, such as the discussion group replacement, and nearly everything else that JewishGen has organized or produced over the past year. The clear quality of content within our offerings is directly attributed to her work and the many hours that she spends each week devoted to JewishGen. Richie Baum, our Associate Editor, has really shouldered the responsibility of updating the blog over the past year and designing and distributing our newsletters, which have not been simple. And through it all, he also maintains and updates our success stories portion of the site, and he plays a role in developing new platforms, which will be unveiled in the months ahead, including the JewishGen Journal. At the same time, Nancy has also expanded the team so that it now includes Richie, David Beck, Associate Editor for Publicity and Outreach, Evan Rubel, Social Media Coordinator, and all the while overseeing the discussion group moderators, led by Phil Goldfarb, Stephen Jones, John Paul Owens, and starting next week, Jessica Feinstein. Let me speak about the discussion groups for just a moment. Last year, we outlined some of the challenges with our old platform. For example, it required messages to be sent in plain text. It was not mobile responsive. It did not support Latin characters. It did not allow images, and it did not have a robust search tool. So we set a goal of moving to a system that would solve these issues. And I'm pleased to report that we did that. We migrated all of JewishGen's lists to an easy-to-use platform that is mobile responsive. It allows non-Latin characters, does not require plain text. It allows images, and it offers a powerful search tool. Excuse me. And it offers a powerful search tool that is easy to use. Excuse me. The feedback thus far has been fantastic. And perhaps the best metric is that people are participating. Last month, there were more than 2,000 messages on the discussion group, the most we've had since 2014. I want to show you how easy it is to search the archives. If you look at the screen in front of you, you'll see there's a red arrow by the search button. That's how you can search for anything that you want going back to the late 1990s. Then, if you find a message that you're interested in, you'll notice that there might be a little number next to it. So on the top message here, next to the arrow, there's the number 15. That means that for the topic of My Heritage, theory of family relativity, there are 15 messages. When you would click on it, you would be able to search not only the message you see now, but all of the related messages. It's all in a thread. Makes it very, very easy to find information and find what you're looking for. It's really a fantastic tool, and I hope that each of you will register for the group if you have not done so already, and join our active and dynamic community. And I'd like to thank the communications team and the moderators for rolling out the new group, providing training to others, and answering the many questions that came up when we initially launched. Another project that the communication team launched is a monthly newsletter, which contains articles and news announcements and record updates and more. In fact, the most recent issue just came out yesterday. It includes a volunteer spotlight, research division updates, special project updates, a success story, and more. This is a major effort that is overseen by Nancy and Richie. I hope that you are all enjoying the articles each month and learning about the progress that JewishGen is making. We're going to be working with Evan Rubel, our new social media coordinator, to significantly increase our presence on Facebook and other platforms. But I'd like to call your attention to two things in particular now. First, at the end of each week on JewishGen's Facebook page, we have a Yisker Book Spotlight, whereby we provide an excerpt from a Yisker book that JewishGen has translated. Each excerpt is curated by Bruce Drake, and he provides an introduction, providing context about the piece. Second, in addition to our discussion group, we also have the Jewish Genealogy portal on Facebook, whom we work with. Another fantastic place to connect with genealogists from around the world. If you are not already a member, I encourage you to sign up. And when you do, please tell them that you heard about it through one of the JewishGen presentations. Another communications-led initiative that we are really excited about is our JewishGen Talk series of webinars, of educational webinars, which took place throughout the months of June and July. Our primary purpose was to provide quality educational programming in an effort to engage with current and potential audiences. We were fortunate to have well-known speakers, and all told, more than 20,000 people participated. If you missed it, nearly all of the recordings are available on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. If you would like to see the speakers and the descriptions of their talks, you can visit jewishgen.org/live. That will also be the page that will soon be updated with the new schedule for the fall. Speaking of educational webinars, I hope you will take advantage of our educational offerings. As I mentioned earlier, Nancy Holden is our new Director of Education, and she oversees a team currently offering 4 different types of courses. They're workbook classes, self-paced, one-to-one classes, more advanced, and for this year, even a foundation series consisting of small mentored study groups. There are multiple tracks, US, European, and others, and there are 5 classes scheduled between now and the end of the year. Please visit jewishgen.org/education for more information. Before we go further, I would like to mention 2 other areas of JewishGen that are managed by volunteers and that are critical. First is systems administration. A special thank you to Gary Sandler, our Director of Systems Administration. He is very much behind the scenes, but so critical to everything that we do. He keeps everything going, from the databases to the education portal to ViewMate, emails, security, and he does more than that. He helps us craft strategic direction, and he plays a vital role in charting JewishGen's course for the future. People may not know this about Gary, but he got interested in genealogy to see if he was related to Adam Sandler. So far, no luck. In 2006 and 2007, he worked with Steve Morse to create the gold form for searching Ellis Island passenger records. On a personal note, I'm extremely grateful to him for his ongoing assistance and training and explaining highly technical matters in a way which I can understand. I want to mention as well our dedicated member support team, led by Sandy Aronson, along with Iris Folkson and Ellen Berkelhammer. As JewishGen continues to engage with users and donors, so has the number of support tickets gone up. In just the last couple of months, more than 1,000 tickets have had to be handled and answered, and they could be on a variety of topics. And I'd like to thank them for handling this. It is generally behind the scenes, but it's what allows so much to happen. Now that we have discussed how we communicate and how we educate, let's transition to some of our projects and databases. One of the goals that we discussed last year was to both create and strengthen strategic partnerships and relationships. As many of you know, JewishGen has been working with Miriam Weiner towards the goal of bringing many of her archival collections to JewishGen. If you are not familiar with Miriam Weiner, you should be. She is truly a pioneer for the work she did in Ukraine, Moldova, Poland, Belarus, beginning in 1989. And you can learn more about Miriam and our partnership by clicking the Miriam Weiner logo on the JewishGen homepage. We are working on more than 20 files that Miriam has provided us, including her entire collections for Bessarabia, Moldova, and Belarus, along with data from Ukraine and Poland. We are planning to make this data accessible by the end of September. In terms of creating new relationships, we are incredibly grateful and proud to announce the Dr. Dan Hirschberg Krakow collection. Dr. Hirschberg is a professor of computer science at the University of California, Irvine, and is well known for his monumental and ongoing effort to transcribe and compile genealogical data about Krakow's Jewish community. And now, for the first time, this extraordinarily valuable collection will also be available via JewishGen. Dr. Hirschberg's story of how he came to undertake this project is inspiring. One summer, he traveled to Antwerp, where his father was born, in an effort to locate a copy of his father's birth record. To his surprise, he was able to find it quickly, so he decided to see if he could find his grandfather's birth record. But he was told that was impossible. Why? Because his grandfather was not from Belgium. He was born in Krakow, Poland, which was in the Austrian province of Galicia before World War I. With this newfound discovery, upon his return to the United States, he visited a regional LDS library in Los Angeles to access microfilm, and he was very successful locating records of family and cousins. But as he went about his research, he decided that he would continue not just for his own benefit, but to provide assistance to anyone else who might have family from Krakow. And that brings us to today. For the first time, researchers on JewishGen will be able to search his incredible Krakow collection, which consists of census records and vital records, marriage intentions ban records, and religious and progressive marriage records. In total, this new collection adds more than 160,000 records to our Polish collection, and more records continue to be added. On behalf of JewishGen, I'd like to thank Dr. Hirschberg for his continued work on behalf of anyone with Jewish roots in Krakow. It is a privilege to host these records. And we have a number of very exciting partnerships that I just can't announce just yet, but hopefully will soon. And we will see a significant number of records and content hopefully added to the collection. Now, generally speaking, this would be the time that I would report on the status of research divisions and special projects. But I figured, why hear it from me when you could hear it directly from the people who are doing so much work to gain access to information and make it accessible to each of you. So I've invited research and special project directors to provide short videos describing their research divisions, what they've accomplished this past year, and what's on deck. You will find that there has been a tremendous amount of activity, including new research divisions being spearheaded for crypto jewelry, Sephardic research, and research here in the United States. So without further ado, I present our research and special project directors.
My name is Alex Calder, and I live in Long Island City, New York. I'm the research director for Germany, and I've been in this role since 2018. The German Research Division covers modern-day Germany, as well as territories that contain Poland, such as Poland,
Avram, you may want to mute your microphone.
In the past year, the German Research Division has published indexes to almost 100,000 records, including the 1845 Altena Census, the 1812 Fulda Department Registers, about family event notices, and Württemberg family registers. This also includes the Bavarian Swabia birth, marriage, and death records donated by Ralph Bloch. Looking ahead, we hope to complete indexing the Württemberg family registers and the Aufbau newspaper family event notices. We are always indexing more vital records and urge everyone with German Jewish ancestry to consider indexing the towns that they know best, where their families come from. We have a number of volunteers working on our projects, who we thank for their continued efforts, and we gladly welcome any new volunteers. Please get in touch with Renee Klisch, the German Research Division Volunteer Coordinator, at rklisch, Klish, at JewishGen.org. Thank you.
Hi, this is Randy Schoenberg. I'm the research coordinator for Austria Czech on JewishGen, and let me tell you quickly what's going on. This is the Austria Czech database on JewishGen. If you want to get a great idea of all the different databases that we have, search for something stupid like Cone, and you'll get a list that includes all of the hits in all of the categories, including burials and births and deaths and marriages and a whole lot more. The Austria Czech Research Division has its old web page, which includes getting started with Czech and Jewish genealogy, a great place to start, or the beginner's guide to Austrian and Jewish genealogy. If you're new and you want to know where to go, start there. There's a whole lot of other links and good resources, but you'll find a lot on this page on JewishGen. At the conference on demand, we have a lot of different talks that are related to Austrian and Czech genealogy. Please make sure to tune in to Julius Müller or Thomas Fiert and their talks. And you can see down at the bottom here, what's new in Austrian and Czech Jewish genealogy. That's my talk, where I talk about all the various resources that are available to us in this area. And live at the conference this year, we have a new event called the Genealogy Deathmatch. It's going to pit me against Jarrett Ross, my ancestors from Vienna and Prague, his from Amsterdam, going back to Spain. And you're going to have a great time watching this very entertaining event hosted by Jordan Auslander. So please turn into that. I think it's 11 something on Thursday. See you all at the conference, virtually at least.
Hi, my name is Ellen Coet, and I live between Denver and Boulder in Colorado. I was appointed director of the new U.S. Research Division last month. This division includes all of the United States and her territories for all of the time periods that Jews have lived in America, starting in 1654 up until the present. In the coming year, we need volunteers to help identify projects, index, and translate records. Most materials will be in English, but some will be in Hebrew, Yiddish, and Ladino. I have a handful of volunteers so far. We invite any and all interested individuals, as well as we encourage a representative from every American-based Jewish genealogy society in the United States to participate. We know many of you have worked on indexing burials for Jobar, as well as memorial plaques for the Memorial Plaques Indexing Project. And we want to make sure we've got all of those covered. But additionally, we can help you locate congregational and Jewish institutional records. We've already found some that are digitized and ready to go on Family Search and on places like Archive Grid. There are university libraries and Jewish historical societies that hold lots of treasures. So let's build up JewishGen's US Records database together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeannie Milgrom and I live in Miami, Florida. I haven't been with JewishGen's research division yet, but I am hoping to spearhead a division for the genealogies of the crypto Jews. I have been doing this personally for the last 15 or more years, and I'm very well versed in the genealogies of the Jews that were hidden during the Spanish Inquisition in the different countries where there was an Inquisition. So the geographical area that this would cover would be basically anywhere that there was an Inquisition tribunal, meaning Spain, Portugal, Mexico City, in the New World, such as the islands, where a lot of the Jews fled, Curacao and into Jamaica, as well as down into South America, in Cartagena, Colombia, and Lima, Peru. I do not currently have any volunteers, but what I'm hoping to accomplish is getting a lot of this data online that is sitting in books that are either not available, have not been published again, or are just extinct. I have been picking up all of these manuals and books for many, many years in antique sellers that actually list victims of the Inquisition. At the same time, we're working very hard in getting some of these files digitized. But in the meantime, it would be nice to have some volunteers to help upload some of this data. And I think that if anybody would have questions, they would need to contact me, Jeannie Milgrom. You can check my website at jeanniemilgrom.com. It is a unique way to get back to find a Jewish heritage in what is somewhat today a Catholic lineage. So I'm hoping to be able to do a great job for JewishGen. Thank you.
Hello, I am Joel Alpert. I live in Tucson, Arizona, and Woburn, Massachusetts, near Boston. I am the coordinator of the Yisker Books in Print project, which publishes hardcover books of fully translated books by the Yisker Book Project. I established this project in 2012, needing a challenge in my retirement. These Yisker or memorial books cover all of Europe. They tell the history of each town, the institutions, the characters, and then the eyewitness accounts of the Shoah. We have published in the past year 12 Yisker books and sold over 1,200. Since the inception of the project, we have published in total 99 Yisker books and sold over 9,000 books in total. We will continue to publish books as they become fully translated in the Yisker Book Project, publishing about one book a month on average. We are also archiving the electronic files or PDFs of these books in 10 institutions, including the U.S. Holocaust Museum, Yad Vashem, YIVO, National Libraries of Israel and National Library of Lithuania, and Harvard and the Universities of Wisconsin and Indiana University. We have many volunteers, but depend upon 6 almost daily for formatting the books, creating name indices, creating astonishing covers by our graphic artists, dealing with registration of Library of Congress control numbers, or LCCN, carrying out publicity, and other tasks. If anyone wants to help, please contact me at ybip@jewishgen.org. I would now like to show you a number of books to give you an idea of our product. This is Hordenka, a particularly poignant picture on the cover. Then these are just a number of the books that I have that were proofs.
Hi, my name is Lara Diamond from Baltimore, Maryland. I have led the Subcarpathia Research Division since fall 2016. We cover the part of Ukraine, which was Hungary pre-World War I, Czechoslovakia between the wars, included large towns like Munkac, Ungvar, and Beregszaz, and a lot of very small villages that had Jewish populations. In the past year, we added 19,000 new indexed vital records to JewishGen. And this year, we have already indexed another 28,000 vital records, with more to come thanks to a lot of people being home. We have 10 to 15 volunteers indexing at any point in time, and I can always use more. Please contact me if you are willing to help. Records are in Hungarian and Czech, and so if you can read cursive English, you can generally read these, so please contact me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Nolan Altman from beautiful downtown Oceanside, New York on Long Island, and I'd like to give you an update on the 3 JewishGen databases I coordinate, along with a team of very dedicated volunteers. The JOBAR database, which is our burial or cemetery database. JOBAR is an abbreviation for JewishGen's online worldwide burial registry, the Memorial Plaques database, and the Holocaust database. Let's start with JOBAR. JOBAR gets updated semi-annually, typically at year-end and before the annual conference, which is normally held between late July and early August. In our 2019 year-end update, we added 120,000 records and 52,000 headstone photos. In the most recent July 2020 update, we added an additional 100,000 records and 93,500 photos. JOBAR now includes in excess of 3.8 million records with 794,000 photos from close to 9,000 cemeteries and cemetery sections covering 134 countries. Next, the Memorial Plaques database. We only had one update this year due to the number of records available to add. We added 15,000 records and 10,300 photos from 30 organizations. We use the term organizations because the source of this information includes synagogues, schools, and Jewish community centers. We're also expanding this database to include large veteran, Holocaust, or town memorials. The Memorial Plaques database now has close to 206,000 records with 146,500 photos from 38 countries. We need your help to add more memorial plaques and Yizkor lists to this database. And finally, the Holocaust database. The Holocaust database gets updated depending when new data is available. This year, we added data from 15 various data sets. 12 were new data sets, and 3 existing sets had additional records added to them. We have a number of other projects currently being worked on for the Holocaust database. But in order to keep growing, we need your help. You can be a data donor. Consider photographing and/or indexing headstones from complete cemeteries or cemetery sections. Or you can contact your synagogue and ask if you can photograph and/or index their memorial plaques. If you or your genealogical society or your synagogue is interested in either of these projects, please contact me to make sure that we're not doing double work. And if you're interested in helping to do data entry or can help with transliteration from non-Latin alphabets to English, please contact Karen Leon, JewishGen's volunteer coordinator. All in all, even with all the craziness in recent months, we added more than 340,000 records, and that's a pretty good year.
Hello, this is Paul Chaifetz from Netanya, Israel, co-director of JewishGen's Latvia Research Division, which encompasses the former Russian Empire gubernias of Kurland, Livonia, Latgala, and part of Vitebsk. This year we've added 11,000 marriages to our vital records collection, as well as street and telephone directories, and have started indexing the vast collection of internal passport records. In the year ahead, we plan to continue with these projects, together with the translation of census records. We will also be fixing the links in our indexes to original records which were lost when the Latvian State Historical Archives changed their website. Please volunteer to help us in this exciting work. You can contact me through the Latvia Research Division homepage on JewishGen. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Phyllis Berenson. I live in Sonoma and San Francisco, California. I lead the Ukraine division of JewishGen, and I've been doing that for just about exactly a year. It's been a very busy year. We have done everything we can to upload as many records as possible for as many towns as possible, as many different kinds of records as possible, so that researchers can find their families. I can't say at this point the exact number we've loaded. I haven't had time to total it, but it's a lot of records. And if you take another look on JewishGen, you might be surprised and find more records for your families. And that's what we've been doing for the past year. What we're hoping to accomplish in the year ahead, some of it we've just started, that is indexing some records rather than completely translating them in order to get them up on JewishGen with a link to the original record so that you can find the information that's not on the website if you get the rest of the record translated. We have a number of volunteers working on all these projects, and Gary Pacrasa, his team has been working on downloading all of the documents that Alex Krakowski has uploaded from the Ukraine archives. So we have hundreds, maybe thousands of documents just in that project, and they're going to be available on the JewishGen website. We have quite a number of volunteers already involved in Ukraine projects, but we're always happy to have more. You don't have to have specific skills, you don't have to know Russian, but we would very much welcome your participation. Please email me at pberenson@jewishgen.org. That's P for boy, ERENSON @jewishgen.org. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sam Enneman, and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been the ViewMate moderator since 2001. ViewMate is the JewishGen service where you upload images and get translations of documents, commentary on your research, and identification of genealogy-related photos and artifacts. We have more than 300 volunteers who generously offer their skills and expertise to translate or respond to other questions about your images. In the year ending June 30th, ViewMate saw a 4 to 10% increase in users, submissions, and responses. JewishGeners uploaded 5,500 images and received almost 7,100 responses. Our database, which grows every week, contains over 82,000 images which you can search in the ViewMate archive. The current size of the ViewMate community is 1,200, including submitters and translators. So whether you have a document or letter to be translated, or you can translate languages other than English, ViewMate is the place for you. Come connect with the ViewMate community.
Good morning. My name is Serena Rafay, and I am the head of the Sephardic Research Division. I come to you from Brooklyn, New York. Our research division really covers the entire world. We're looking at Sephardic communities wherever they were around the Mediterranean basin, around the Middle East, and where we can find records. Some of these communities are now in South America and North America. So wherever Sephardic communities developed, we're looking for records. So these might include cemetery records, Brit Milah records, lists, marriage records. And we've been very successful at obtaining records. This year alone, we did Bogota, Colombia. We're in the middle of a project to translate and harvest information from the Moroccan community in Buenos Aires. We have several thousand ketubot. We have immigration records to Bogota, Colombia. And in the past, we've been successful at getting records from Mexico, Cuba, Venezuela, Syria, among other places. We're looking for volunteers that have knowledge in languages, since a lot of the records come to us in different languages, specifically Soletreo, Arabic, Spanish, and French. If people would like to contact me, they can reach me at serena@roffe.com. That's SARINA@ROFFE.com. Thanks and have a great day.
Hello, greetings from sunny Sonoma County, California. My name is Vivian Kahn, and I'm director of JewishGen's Hungarian Research Division, formerly known as the Hungarian SIG. This is a position I've filled for more than 20 years now. We cover the area known as Greater Hungary, which includes formerly Hungarian-speaking areas of Ukraine, Romania, the Transylvania region, all of the Republic of Slovakia, all of present-day Hungary, portions of Serbia, and even a little bit of Austria and Poland. We have one of the largest component databases on JewishGen because of efforts that we've made to acquire and transcribe records. Accomplishments this year include uploading close to 50,000 records to the Hungary database, more than 30,450 vital records, 26,000 records from Maramuresh, and we've transcribed 21,400 census records for Budapest and Pest-Pilis County in Hungary. In the coming year, we hope to continue this and acquire even more records. I'd also like to add to the database the names and other details from the Hungarian 1944 Budapest flat sheets that were found in the wall of an apartment being renovated in Budapest. We have hundreds of volunteers without whom all of this wouldn't have been possible, and would love to have you join us. Please don't hesitate to contact me or any of the project coordinators. Thank you.
My name is Yefim Kogan, and I live in Lee, Massachusetts. I am leading and coordinating together with Ina Weiner, Bessarabia Research Group. I am in this position since the group was formed in 2011. It covers Bessarabia, Gubernia of Russian Empire, and the whole current Republic of Moldova. That includes the breakaway region of Transnistria. Our main focus this year was on two major projects, a cemetery project and revision list project. The cemetery project, we went to Kishinev, Belce, and Lipkane and other places, photographing and indexing the record, uploading them to Jobber. For the revision list, we completed this year about 18,000 records. Next year, we will continue these two projects and also have starting a new phase of Bessarabia Vital Record Project. We already have about 160,000 vital records in our Bessarabia database, but this time it is from 20th century. We acquired a number of metrical books for several major towns from 1905 to 1918. We had this year about 20 volunteers, and with the new project we will definitely need more people who can translate, transcribe from Russian and Yiddish, and also lead these projects.
Okay, thank you. We have one more recording that I'm going to play now. This is from Lance Ackerfeld. He is the coordinator of the Yiskerbook project. He lives in Israel. Some of you might know that Binny Lewis was running the project for the past year, and we thank Binny very, very much for all that he has done. He has departed to pursue his own rabbinical career and graduate studies, and Lance has agreed to once again become the director of the project. And here is an interview. Here's a video from Lance.
My name is Lance Ackerfeld, and I live on Kibbutz Yiftach, which is in northern Israel. I personally lead the Yiskerbook project and have been involved in various capacities in the project since 1999. In the period between 2009 and June 2019, I also served as Yiskerbook manager. Over the last period, Binny Lewis has led the project, and just a week or so ago, I resumed leadership of the project once again. Our research division encompasses the communities that were destroyed during the Holocaust, which mainly includes Europe, but also communities that suffered during this period that are outside of the continent. Over the past year, we've continued to expand and add to the numerous projects established over the years, and Binny has placed his efforts into streamlining processes within the major project. In the coming year, I intend to continue to expand the project and place emphasis on new community books and projects that are close to completion and just need that extra effort. It's difficult to place an exact number on the volunteers working our project, but there are probably around 50 regular volunteers and many others who afford their assistance on a non-regular basis. We are always appreciative of any assistance that people are willing to devote to this project in a wide variety of fields. If you are interested in becoming involved in the ISCA book project, would like to learn more about what is entailed, I'd be happy to hear from you. Hope you have a chance to visit our site, and in the meantime, wish you all the best and of course keep safe. Thank you.
Okay, I thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope that you are all as excited as I am what we're accomplishing with the help of our volunteers from around the world. I think our future is bright. We have a lot of good things to be working on. We have a lot of good strategy in place, and we have the people who can implement it. So I leave you with one request, which is use the website. Search our databases. Sign up for the Family Finder. Register for the discussion groups. Get involved with the Jewish Genealogy portal. Search our info files. Get involved in the Jewish community. Tell others about us and be part of the future. I thank you very much for your time and attention today. I thank you for your involvement and support, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the conference. Have a wonderful day. Bye.